this is Wayne here, and we're checking out Holesaws. Again, here we are back at trying to take a look at everything and sort out the advertising and get to the bottom of what is the tool, what is it called, and what does it actually do. And we're going to do that by putting this stuff to the test. We found out a whole bunch of information with the Ultimate Guide to Drill Bits. We found out even more information with the Ultimate Guide to Sawzall blades, and how the different aggregates, how different abrasives like carbide and diamond drill, and what they're going to drill, and how they're going to do it, and how they're going to perform, and where these bi-metal blades are going to perform as well. Bi-metal hole saw like this is going to burn out and get destroyed pretty quickly if you get it in stainless steel or any kind of hardened steel. We've already figured out, and we've already shown and displayed that a hole saw removes less material. So if you're going to be at a half-inch hole or bigger, it's going to be less expensive for you and faster to go with a hole saw, whether you're drilling in metal or wood or whatever it may be. A hole saw could save you a bunch of time, at least for sure in metal and tile, because you're drilling something that's so hard. The less material that you make, or the less material that you have to remove, the faster you're going to drill. So we've got some bi-metal blades. This is what happens when you drill stainless steel or any kind of hardened steel. You can see this would be a normal hole saw with these nice little teeth right here, and stainless steel will quickly turn your hole saw into that. Found out that the hard way a couple times. So these are some new things. This was the old setup that I had before. I just had hole saws for installing locks, a 1 inch and a 2 1/4, just like this here, and that would install everything on wood and metal doors. However, they're slow compared to some of these here. This is the carbide cutter from Spider. They actually have some really cool stuff going on, and some really cool innovation. The number one problem with hole saws is removing the plug when you're done, and Spider has a really cool, this blue Spider button. You take that and you eject the plug, just like that. Something else cool that Spider did that nobody else really does is they have this really cool system to where you can actually add 2 hole saws onto one. So let's say you drilled your hole, and this is a little bit of an extreme example, but let's say you drilled your hole with a hole saw. One of the main problems with a hole saw is that you can't, once you've drilled that hole, this is your centering drill bit, and once you've drilled a hole like this big, it's going to be practically impossible to put something like this and expand that hole a little bit, simply because the center's already been taken out and you're not going to have anything to guide the rest of the drill bit in there. But what Spider has done is they've made that arbor long enough, or the center that actually spins, they've made it long enough to where you can actually add another one to it, just like so. And the pin should actually drop in too, possibly, and hold that. If we got one more click out of it, we could do it. But they're actually going to allow you to add 2 like that. So let's say you misjudged on this one. Instead of having to have a jig or something, around that, you're going to actually be able to just go buy the next size up and actually use the one that you used in here as a guide. So that's a pretty cool innovation. That's about the only thing that I've seen that's really setting any of these apart from each other, is the hole ejection system from this, and the ability to run 2 of them at the same time. Bosch has a similar setup. These are the Bosch ones here. However, you cannot add a larger bit or a smaller bit. You can't run them both. You just got the one. Now they have a quick release deal too for their for plug ejection, like so. You just have this quick release thing, but I don't know, it's not as good, I don't think. I think the Spider put a little more thought and effort into that, and that's some pretty cool stuff. So these are some new things that I just barely started to see show up at the hardware store, and I wanted to try them out and see, and they save a ton of time. This is actually going to improve your production quite a bit. You know, we got diamond and we got carbide grit, so we'll see how those perform. We may not get to this one. This would be used in more of a high-speed tool, but that's there too. So this is the stuff that you're going to see at the hardware store. This is a special order bit from Drill Bit Warehouse, and this one it takes the idea of these carbides that are working so well, but it's specifically designed for metal, and it doesn't have just 3. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 6 carbide chunks in there, and what that does is it allows you to drill the metal and drill it a whole lot more efficiently. These can drill metal. They'll drill thin metal, and they'll drill stainless steel. Like if you have thin, like a sink or something like that, they will drill it. But this is going to drill thick steel, and it's going to drill a lot of it. So kind of a wide range of what we got here, and a wide range of applications and what it's going to do. Where these are going to perform for you, you'll be able to decide. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll see where everything shakes out at. Alright, so we got our normal bi-metal blade right here. We've only made one cut with this so far. We'll just go ahead and hit this up against the carbide cutter here. Let's take a look at this piece of wood. This is a pressure treated outdoor grade lumber, and there's going to be this great big huge knot right here, and that's right there. I want that there for a reason. So we're going to go ahead and take this, punch a hole. So you begin to see how those teeth clog up. So now what we're going to do to be able to make this go as efficiently as possible is backwards and then forward. And then they're going to be clogged up again. You can see they're all clogged. And we're going to go backwards. This is what drilling this pressure-treated lumber does, because it's treated with like an insecticide and that kind of stuff to keep the bugs and rot out of it. Okay, so now we got that out, and we'll go ahead and do the fun screwdriver thing. Pull that plug out. So that's your average bi-metal blade in the wood. What we're going to do now is we're going to try the carbide tipped arbor from Spyder. And I'm actually going to drill this right into that knot right there. So that would be well, we'll do one above it, and then we'll do one into the knot too. Okay, so you can see how much faster that was. Then we push the Spyder button, plug comes right out, drill bit goes right back into place. Now we're going to do one right smack dab in the middle of that big giant ugly knot. And still, just like that, I can feel the moisture and the wetness coming off of that. So you can see how much faster that's going to put your production for the day when you're doing this kind of stuff. You know, I just drilled 3 holes in the time it took that other one to drill 1. The other really cool thing about this too is that if we drilled the wrong size hole, we can pop that off. We can pop off or pop on a larger size hole saw here. And then we can go ahead and thread on our smaller size and use it just like a guide. So we're going to start it, and we're going to have to grab onto this pretty good because it's going to it's got a lot of torque against it. And voila, now we've got a larger hole. This is the only system that incorporates all these different functions, and then also, I mean, it still comes off just like so. And then this can come off. And if you really want to, it's the only Carbide Arbor system that I've seen that will allow you to adapt the current bi-metal blades that you already have right onto it, just like so, and go ahead and continue to use those. As slow as they are. There you have it. That's the adaptable Carbide Arbor system from Spyder. This is the stuff that's replacing pretty much everything I'm buying. I'm not buying bi-metal blades hardly anymore. This is what I'm sticking with. The Carbide lasts a long time. They drill way faster, and if you drill from both sides, then they won't split the wood out like they kind of did on here, but that was just for demonstration purposes. Hardwood, softwood, pine, wet wood, treated wood, outdoor wood, landscaping timbers. If you need to put some holes in some wood and you need to do it in a quick way, this is the fastest thing that I've seen to do so. So for more information, check out Spyder.com or SpyderTools.com, the website below right here, and check them out. Thanks. All right, so we got a regular bi-metal blade right here, and go ahead and tighten this thing up into here. We'll see how this does. This is going to be a pressure-treated redwood. So it's going to have some of the additives in it that make it a little more durable and like an outside type of wood. So we'll just go ahead and get right in on this here. Okay, so these are some of the things that we're going to pay attention to right here. We'll see how long it takes to eject this core and the process in doing so. This is actually a pretty dry wood. This must not be the pressure treated wood. This must just be the regular redwood. We'll do pressure treated too. So that's how long it's going to take to do that one with your regular bi-metal saw. Okay, now here we have the Bosch. This is the Bosch carbide tipped arbor, and one of the disadvantages that this has is it does come with this particular setup, and you cannot integrate your normal bi-metal saw blades into this particular apparatus. It is more convenient in that where you can eject the plug of the core, or the core that you pull out like so, but it does not allow for the regular use of your bi-metal blades that you already have. The other thing is it's going to come with a carbide bit in case you do get into some stainless steel or some harder steels. That's what that carbide is going to be able to be. It's going to be able to drill that, or it's going to be able to drill stone and masonry, whereas your bi-metal blades are not going to be able to do that. It doesn't seem to affect it too much in wood, but we'll just go ahead and give it a shot here and see what we get. Okay, so there's our core. You can see that was much faster. And then we can, supposedly, we're able to pull this and eject that core out. In theory, there it goes. So that was a little bit easier to eject the core out for sure. That is the Bosch Carbide Arbor. So getting all this stuff to line up just right is a little bit complicated and confusing, but it does work, and it does work faster than your standard hole saw by far. So that's that one. All right, so here we got our carbide cutter. That will cut through stainless steel and your wood in a fairly efficient manner. We did see a little bit of smoke and stuff, but that was just more the metal heating up the wood than anything else. Let's see if we can get that out there. You can see, cuts right through the stainless steel though. And all of our carbide tips seems to be in fairly decent shape as well. So let's move that up. See if we can get a spot. Alright, we got our carbide bit, drill bit warehouse. This is the diamond carbide hold cutter. It's got carbide bits in there, 6 carbide bits to use as cutters. Shut the wrong one off. Okay, so that's our carbide cutter from Drill Bit Warehouse. This is the carbide cutter right here. It's called a diamond hole cutter, but the diamond actually sharpens the carbide, and that's where they get the name from. Creates a very nice hole, practically machine quality hole, and this is spring steel. So let's try and clean this off a little bit. So you can see the nice hole that made. I mean, there's no burr there. You'd have to file a little bit on the backside, but there's not really too much of a burr at all on there. And this is super, super hard. Anything normally you get into spring steel, you're not going anywhere. You're just burning up bits and trashing bits unless you have carbide. Carbide's the only thing that's really going to get through this stuff. So for more information, check out drillbitwarehouse.com or check out the website below. And we set the brake on this, so that's exactly what would happen when we broke through. We'll go ahead and switch this over to the drill mode and drill this. Drill a hole right through stainless steel, and you can see we didn't build up too much heat on there. The stainless steel didn't blue or anything like that. It actually cut fairly decent chunks out. And because of the carbide in the bit, that's what allows us to go through that. Our other hole saw loaded up for stainless steel here, and set that up so it breaks again. Okay, so the main bit's not even going to go through that, so what we need to do is at least try and allow that to go through. So we can have a halfway decent comparison here. Okay, so we'll actually just need to drill through it with this carbide bit here, and then we'll let the hole saw do its thing. Okay. This is what's going to happen if you try and drill stainless steel with a regular hole saw. Teeth are going to be flat, You're going to get smoke. Well, you're not even going to get through it, first of all. And you can see all this heat. We're definitely not getting through this with this. So for wood, concrete, brick, stone, I'm sure it drills stone and tile just fine too, and stainless steel. Why would we? I'm not even going to buy bi-metal blades anymore, simply because this system is so far superior to it. So check it out, and I hope you have the same results I do. But definitely really liking this system, especially for me, because occasionally I will get these stainless steel plates that wrap around a door or something, and have to install hardware on there, and this just makes it 10 times easier to be able to drill through this. Because how many times has this happened to me already, where we go to drill this thing, and next thing you know, we have a smoked drill bit and no way to drill the hole, basically. So check it out. For more information, visit the website below. Share this, send it to Facebook, G+, Twitter, stuff like that. Share this information and let other people know, because this is how information gets spread. You find a video, please like it, and then that's going to move me up in the ranks, so other people get to see the most quality information being displayed out today. Alright, so you need to drill a large hole in stainless steel. You have a problem, because if you use a conventional hole saw bit like this here, this is exactly what's going to happen. Number one, I had to actually use a carbide bit to go ahead and get that first pilot hole drilled out, and then to prove that that this system right here did not work, that the actual hole saw itself did not work. That's what happened. Now you know this is stainless steel because it stopped the drill bit, number one, and two, you can see how it just flattened all these teeth way down. I mean, they're just completely flattened out. That's what stainless steel is going to do to your conventional drill bits like that. I got another one right here. Here's a 1-inch hole saw. First encounter with stainless steel. This is what's going to happen. You're going to have flattened off teeth and a whole bunch of frustration, and you're going to be wondering, what are you going to do next? Well, there's a video out where somebody uses a bit like this to go ahead and drill through there. One of these step bits. Basically, it just steps down each size, and that did seem to work pretty well, and we'll go ahead and give that a try. I'm going to get some lubrication for cutting this. And we'll give it a go here. Getting there, at least it's going. Tell how much more and more of this, so we're almost there. As soon as that one fits in, then we'll be at 1 inch. There we go. Now that fits through. Now this is a very, very good, very expensive, very high quality step bit. This is one from Champion, and this thing is awesome. You're going to be lucky to find something of this quality at your hardware store. So the other option, and the main reason that I'm trying to say the main advantage to hole saws is exactly right here. We're not removing all of that material into these tiny little flakes, okay? We're not going to be doing that. We're actually going to be cutting much, much less material in the process. Therefore, it will cut much faster because the hole saw is going to cut around. So we're going to load this up with some cutting fluid, just like we did that one. And we're going to keep a nice low RPM. I'd have to spin it to get it going first. I'm actually going to set the brake to brake on this when I pop through. So that's what that was. Okay, so now we're going to go back to drill mode. Just like butter. And the plug got ejected from this automatic spring ejection system. So this hole is much, much cleaner. It's almost like it's a regular machine hole in there. And that was 10 times easier and 10 times faster. Remember, this is with a hand drill. If you have a drill press, you're going to have the added leverage and you're going to have some more things on your side than just this right here. So we'll clean this up, get a little bit of clean on there and see the difference in these two holes. So you can see right there that okay, so now that we got this thing cleaned up a little bit, we can see the different holes, and you can see how much cleaner that one is as opposed to that one there with our big champion bit here. I mean, that's really cool and great that that thing will actually do that, but you can see the difference in the hole. Right here, a quick filing would clean that up real quick and it'd be just like a machined hole, whereas this you'd have to have quite a bit more. You'd probably have to bring this bit in from this side, and you know, it would take a little bit more work and effort to clean it up. So definitely, if you got to drill a bunch of holes too, this is going to be able to do that same, replicate that over and over and over again. Whereas you're going to be lucky we're lucky that cut the first hole, 2 or 3, and you're probably going to start burning up that bit. So for more information, check out the website below. Thanks. Alright, so right here we have the diamond blade, and we're going to try and cut this. This would be a hardened stainless steel. So this is going to be in that 58 to 60, 62 range, somewhere right in there on the Rockwell hardness scale. This is going to definitely be a really good test for this. We'll see if the diamond gums up or not. That's going to be my main concern. Getting it started is definitely the most difficult part. Okay, now things are going to start failing. The diamond has worn off of there, and I could see that the heat that was being generated started to get red. So this is pretty much all but over. So it did cut the material. However, possibly if we would have used a much slower RPM, had this submersed in a lubrication bath, something like that, we could have possibly gotten through this, but it is not going to cut it dry like this. It's just wearing the diamond off. You can see some multiple spots right here and here and here where that's been worn off. So that is not going to work for that. Okay, so here now we have this loaded up, and this is a piece of plate steel here. Let's see what it is. About 1/4 inch steel. So the advantage to the bi-metal blade is it does cut metal. If you got a heavier, this is probably heavier duty than you'd see on any of your doors or any of that kind of application, but that's what we want to showcase and see how it drills through this. We got it set up in a drill press like this so everything's nice and controlled, and we can add some lubricant to it as we go ahead and go through with this. So we'll turn this on. Okay, so there you have it. That's what it's going to take for your bi-metal blade in a used condition to cut a hole in, you know, 1/4-inch plate steel like that. We'll get this cleaned up, we'll get it loaded up, we'll get the other one loaded up, and we'll see what that one does. After we get this cleared up, we can clearly see that the cutting edges on here are still nice and sharp. I mean, that was pretty slow to cut through this, but we were running at a really, really low RPM. And you can see that because of that low RPM and using cutting fluid, that we didn't get any heating or any bluing or any of that stuff that's associated. We never even got any smoke off of there. So this drill bit will drill several holes through thicker steel like this. I just use this as an example because we can call this, you know, 4 or 5 metal doors all done at once. But there's no real damage to it. You can see that the teeth are still intact and still do feel sharp. This still will cut wood and things like that, but simply for demonstration's sake, to not completely destroy this blade. That's why we run it real slow and we run it with some cutting fluid. One other advantage to these is you are going to be able to cut things like cinder block and stuff like that as well. We'll just do a little quick demo right here. Hold that up. And the core moves nice and easy. Now if we try that, this bit. I think this one's going to go ahead and need to admit defeat because the teeth are pretty much done and the bit is smoking and it's only about halfway down. So we can easily see how much more versatile this is. It's twice as fast, if not even faster, 2 or 3 times as fast to drill through wood. It's faster to pull the plugs out, drills through the metal, drills through stainless steel. Every now and then you're going to run into a sink, a stainless steel sink. Or something like that, and this is going to be able to drill that. This is not. You're going to have a similar thing like here where you're just going to burn it up. You're going to burn up the teeth, and this is just going to keep on going. The only complaint I have about these is that if you do drop them on concrete, you're going to start chipping your carbide. Alright, so here we got our carbide tipped arbor with the carbide tipped masonry blade, and this is natural stone, but it's a floor tile. So we're going to be able to see how versatile this blade is in this ultra hard abrasive environment. Now this is not set on any hammer drill setting, it's just set on regular drill. It's not even a hammer drill at all. So we'll just see what it does. Okay, so we can see that it'll definitely drill natural stone floor tile quite easily, and all the carbide is still definitely well intact. And we didn't need any lubrication to do that either. You could, I would suggest if you're going to be cutting more than one hole, definitely for sure, you know, unless you want to start going through blades. The carbide will hold up extremely well. The only thing you got to worry about is chipping. We could use a water solution or dip it in a water table, and this blade would last an extremely long time, even in this hardened environment. Okay, so now we got our Spider carbide tipped saw, Holesaw or Carbide Arbor here, and we'll try it in this. This is a hard floor natural stone. So this is a natural stone, but it's like it's specifically designed to be floor tile. You can see how it's finished on the back side here. So let's just see how it does. Okay, so there's that, and we push the button, and the interior piece comes right off. Very nice, very clean cut. I'm looking at the carbide here, and I'm not seeing any chipping or damage on it. That goes right back into place. You probably definitely want to use some kind of lubricant or water if you're going to be doing more than one hole or just a couple. Or you could start to go through blades pretty well, but definitely it'll do it, and it'll continue to do it. The carbide definitely will hold up to the task. And this is some fairly hard stuff. I don't know exactly what kind of stone it is, but I do know that it's specifically designed for floor tiling. Very nice hole for floor tile. Just give that a couple of taps, and that thing should fly right out of there. So floor tile, dry cutting, very nice. You'd have a bigger piece, you'd have it grouted in, it wouldn't blow out like that. But it's just a little difficult to create a stage scenario right here without this being actually grouted in. But the diamond blade definitely does a really nice job of cutting through that stuff very nice and smooth. Alright, so this is the rigid diamond, and the main difference with this one is it has this carbide centering bit that the other one did not have. That's not exactly it. I don't remember exactly where I put it here, but the other one is similar to this, where it does not have that centering device, so you kind of got to fold it over into it. This also does not have a steady row of diamond. It's actually staggered like so to help clean itself out a little bit better. So let's just see how this works. Excellent. Look at that. Automatic withdrawal on there. So as soon as you tap it, that spring load kicks it right out. Very cool system. Definitely fast, nice fast hole. This is a diamond grit, and we can see that that diamond is still fully intact. It's staying on there nice, and that's a nice smooth hole that just made right there. Alright, so here we've got our Lennox tungsten carbide grit. This has the grit and a masonry carbide bit. This is going to be a floor stone, a natural floor stone. We'll see how it does. Okay, so that piece was a little thin, so it broke. But that's not the drill bit's fault. That's just we're just using scrap pieces of stone here to get a result, and it did make a very nice clean cut in that. If I can get this out. Where's my screwdriver? Then you can see that it's still got the stone fully cut all the way down into it, right in there.
So there you have it. It will definitely drill a concrete cinder block as well. And we're still got plenty of grit left on the actual cutting device itself.
All right, we got a natural floor stone here, and this is our diamond grit hole saw.
You'll notice that I start the edge in first and then work the drill over, because there is no inner insert or centering device. Very easy, very clean, very nice. Very, very nice. Fairly rapid cut as well.
So that's going to be your floor stone. To be a floor material, has to be very, very hard to deal with the traffic and the impact and stuff. And that's a very nice smooth hole that made right there. We'll go ahead and take a look at this. So for running pipe, tubing, sink fixtures, electronics, wire, copper tubing, anything, that's what you're going to need. You're going to need a diamond hole saw to go ahead and do so. Okay, so here we have our diamond hole saw right here. Now this one does not have a centering pin, so it's going to make it a little more difficult to use, but we're going to go ahead and try it on this piece of floor tile. This is super hard ceramic floor tile, one of the hardest things you're going to run into in the construction industry. I don't have an exact Rockwell hardness scale rating, but I do know that they're usually pretty hard. So we'll go ahead and get our mask on and try this again.
So there you have it. Diamond drilling extremely hard floor tile.
This is actually the Rigid brand hole saw, and that's very nice. Alrighty guys, so that's pretty much it. That's the long and short of pretty much every hole saw encounter that you're going to have out there. Your bi-metal blades, like this here, they're going to cut just about most materials. They're going to cut wood, but they're going to cut it slowly. You're going to have to back out because of the close spacing of the teeth. But it will cut your just about anything in the wood department, hardwoods, softwoods, things like that. Things with more glue or composite type of woods are going to bog these down more, simply because that glue will heat up and begin to gum up the teeth a whole lot faster than you know, like the annular cutter or the carbide arbors like these right here. So they'll cut wood, they'll cut metal, they'll cut plastic. They don't do very well in concrete. They don't do very well on fiberboard. They don't do it very well on anything that's a tile or concrete or abrasive. You will burn them up quickly, and you'll have one of these with no teeth. They also don't do stainless steel. Here's the resultant product of stainless steel right there. We can see teeth versus teeth, what happens. So going and continuing on down the line, let's see here. We had our carbide grit, which seemed to do okay. It's not going to cut steel very well. The steel is going to gum up. Even stainless steel is going to gum up in here and cause you some pretty serious problems with this stuff. So no go on steel or stainless steel. Tile, block. The tile, it cut it, but it cut it much more aggressively and rough than the diamond. So it tended to break the tile more and make a rougher cut instead of a cleaner cut. So that's where that's going to be. So your carbide grit, no metal, but as far as cinder block, concrete, brick, tile, and stone, definite yes on that. Right here, our annular cutter with multiple pieces of carbide. This definitely cuts steel extremely well. The way that the points are designed on this thing, it's just really great for cutting that stuff. And the carbide, because the multiple pieces, is going to last quite a long time unless it's dropped. If you drop this onto concrete or steel or something hard, that impact, you're gonna chip teeth, and that's what's gonna happen to that. You know, you're really not going to need to buy this if you're cutting wood. It would be kind of a waste of time. It'll cut wood, it'll cut plastic, it will cut some cinder block type materials and some stone, but it's not going to be that well suited for tile. You're going to start to blur those lines and run into something that you're not going to be able to cut with this when you start getting into your very hard ceramic tiles. But as far as steel goes, the king of steel is right here. It just chews right through that stuff. Hardened steel, spring steel, stainless steel. This is the go-to bit. So you're gonna want to pick up one of these annular cutters if you're cutting steel. What else do we have? The diamond, and diamond. It's gonna gum up in steel and stainless steel. It's just not going to hold up to those applications, but it's going to go through your ceramic tile and concrete materials very, very nicely. This is going to make the cleanest, smoothest cut for tile. The main advantages, you got your two different options here. I prefer the one with the centering arbor, because then you don't have to have that super high speed and try and make that cut with one side and then center the piece over it. This right here, it actually cleaned the material out better. It would allow me to cut thicker material, and it has the centering device, and pretty much when you get done, since that is spring loaded like so, you just give it a couple taps and your piece flies out. This is a very, very good setup from Rigid right here. So that's what your diamond's going to do. Stick to stone and ceramic with diamond, and then pretty much the ultimate job site Holesaw right here. And my favorite is the Carbide Arbor. We've got the one from Bosch and we've got the one from Spider. And these things just cut just about everything. You're going to find their limitations with steel and metal, but they are going to give the addition of stone and masonry. So if you've got fiberboard, hardy backer board, concrete board, tile, those kinds of things where you're going to need to run plumbing or piping, this is going to be the favorite tool for you. Again, with working with wood, with just cutting some big rough holes through wood, man, these things are super, super fast. They're just awesome at it. They do an extremely good job. They throw the chips out faster, and they have the plug throwing device that just makes them far superior to the standardized Holesaw. And then again, when we come back to, you know, these two brands here, which one was better? You know, this one, the spider system, I think is hands down the winner. Number one, it allows us to use a masonry bit, and if I can find it, HSS, or a high-speed steel sharpened bit. So this is going to run through your wood and plastic and things like that really, really fast, and it gives you the option to run the masonry bit. The Bosch, I did not see the option to run a high-speed steel bit, so that's a limiting factor. The fact that this one has the far superior plug ejecting device, I found this much easier to use because I'm only just pushing this button, pushing this out, and bringing it back like so, and moving on to the next hole, whereas the Bosch was pretty funky to do. You have to do this, and then this would come out, and then, you know, trying to get everything going, lined up back and plugged in to the next hole. I did find more difficult to use this system than this system here. And the overall winner is being able to adapt your smaller hole into that one there. You know, that just makes a huge amount of difference. If you drilled the wrong size hole and you need to go the next size up, that is a lifesaver, because there's not much option with these other tools to do that. And then my absolute 100% favorite piece of this entire mix was, I'm not 100% committed to only using this system where I would be with the Bosch. I can throw my Holesaw bits on here, and they're going to adapt to this system. They're going to click right in. It's not going to over tighten. Those holes are going to drop right down in there, and I'm going to be able to use the Holesaws that I already have, and I've invested in. So many options with this spider system. It's a great idea. I hope they stay in business and stay in the stores and continue to provide this product, because I really like the way it works out. The last thing you want to do is be invested in a system like this, and I know Bosch isn't going anywhere, but they, you know, if they decide to get rid of this product line, you got a bunch of stuff that you can't use for anything else. Whereas this, you can use it for a multitude of other things. And then if you want to swap your bits out and swap over to a wood steel plastic bit, boom, there you go, and you're ready to go, and you're ready to throw the next one on, or the next one here or here. Excellent system. The one that's staying in my bag is going to be the spider system. That's what I'm going to be using for my installations and things like that. I'm always going to keep some Holesaws as a backup plan. Thicker steel, these do pretty good. That was the one thing that I found that these carbide cutters did not do well with. They do not, because of the few pieces of carbide, they don't deal with thick steel very well. Now let's talk about that. If we could take these carbide cutters and inlay this bit here with a grit like they've done on this here, and have that a solid grit format around here, to where even if you did chip or bust one of these pieces here, you would still have some form of a backup. Or even just adding more pieces of carbide. If you added 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I think that would add up to more steel cutting capabilities, because our close together carbide cutter here, same idea, little pieces of carbide around this mild steel housing. This was the king of steel. This is not, because it's spread out too far. It's too much impact and rotation, and it's too harsh of an environment for it to come around and do any good and cut that next piece of steel. It's trying to cut too aggressively. So if there was some way to add more pieces of carbide, or to even add a carbide or a diamond grit into this void area here on either of these systems, you would have the next generation product. So that's the review. That's pretty much across the board what you're going to see. I hope that helps. I hope that clears some things up. please definitely subscribe to the channel. You know, I'm filthy, I'm dirty. I spent a whole ton of time doing this to provide some information to you guys, and that's the main story behind it. Also, awesome thanks to my Milwaukee drill. All of this drilling was done with 2 batteries, and this drill right here. So every time you saw that cordless drill being used, 2 batteries on it. So awesome job to that. That's why I've chosen that brand, and that's how I make my decisions with all the stuff that I choose. So for more information, check out the website below. Check out these brands, and their information will be listed below too. And thanks for watching, and continue to check out the Ultimate Guide, or I mean the Guide to Drill Bits, Guide to Sawzall Blades, Guide to Holesaws, all that stuff. Check out some of my other videos. So thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's the end of the video. You know, help me out and help me help you out. Right below the description box right here is a red subscribe button. Subscribe to me, and then you're going to get the latest and greatest information that I put out. Sometimes it applies to you, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's just going to at least let you know that we're putting out new and current information. And then right over here is a thumbs up button. Give me a thumbs up. Help this video rank higher in the searches for the search terms that you're using, and let other people be able to see this. You know, that's the best way you can help. Interact. Leave a comment. I will get back with you if I can and try and help you answer your questions. But the more you interact and post this to Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and spread this through the social media, the more that allows me to be able to help do more videos. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And subscribe, share, and like. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.